Hello, and welcome to the Sugar Bell Review, a program dedicated to learning about the people, places, and policies that make up the Bellbrook Sugar Creek community. This evening, we have with us Dean Gwin from the Bellbrook Barber Company. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Of course, thanks for having me.
We are enjoying your, having you in town. I know several of our friends have come by. We've had Lucas there. Josh has gotten his beard shaved. He's very much enjoyed it. So we're grateful that you are in the community for sure. But how did you end up in Bellbrook?
Well, I graduated barber school just at the beginning of this year, and I had a friend who was opening a barbershop and just happened to be in Bellbrook. And I didn't grow up in Bellbrook, but I was best friends with a guy who grew up and went to Bellbrook High School. Okay. So I was definitely growing up in Bellbrook, even though I didn't live here. And I thought, what better place to be? I just always liked the small town feel. And it was also a perk that Bellbrook didn't have any barbershops, so this was the first one. So I thought, it sounds good. It was a brand new company, and I just wanted to see it flourish in this town. So I thought it was a good spot to choose.
It definitely is kind of a niche that wasn't being fulfilled. We have a few salons,
absolutely.
But nothing for the guys.
I know you guys were looking really rough, so we decided Bellbrook needs our help.
Bellbrook needs it.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Now, did you always want to become a barber?
So I wanted to do hair way back when I was probably about 18, 19 years old. And I don't know if I was just naive or what, but I didn't realize that cosmetology and barber were two different entities. So I remember my mom took me to this cosmetology school, and I walked in, there's just a sea of women, and they're all doing hair, and I was just like, no,
this is gonna work for me.
No, I don't want to do that. So I kind of just veered off that, and you have your family telling you what you should do and what you ought to do, and I kind of fell in the medical field, and I was doing physical therapy for a while, but nothing ever really felt like me. I'm not one to sit at a desk or have somebody telling me what to do, barking orders and such. And my mom was in this industry, and she got sick with cancer back in 2017, and she passed away just a couple of years ago. And so I just felt after she died, I was like, I'm just going to completely revamp my life. And I went to barber school and started chasing that dream, and now I'm here and I love it.
So how'd you find out that barber school was different from cosmetology?
Well, I spoke with my barber, and then also I just started, I had found out, well before I decided to go. But I was kind of stuck in my other career doing stuff, and I would watch YouTube videos, and I'd think, that would be so cool, but, I'm 31 now, so when you decide to completely shift your career, you just kind of get a little nervous about taking the plunge. But I just decided, well, might as well do it and see what happens, and I'll never look back. That's for sure.
It is hard sometimes to just shift gears when you're kind of doing the same thing. That transition and change can be a little intimidating, especially the older you get.
Yeah, you go from physical therapy to barbering, that's a complete 180. So it was a definite
seem to really
leap.
Love it. So that's cool. Is this your niche then? You found that place for you?
I can't imagine doing anything else, and now that I'm doing it, I don't know how I ever did anything else.
That does definitely sound like a love relationship with your work.
I for a long time was like, I want to find my passion. People say they love what they do, and work isn't work if you love it. And I was like, work sucks. I hate it. And now I love it.
Now, do you service all ages?
Yeah, we'll do. I mean, if it's like in barber college, I'd have people coming in, line up my kid. I'd be like, you just had them 4 hours ago. I can't touch that baby. But no, they would bring the smallest kids in, but at the barbershop, we'll do pretty much all ages. I've done as young as a year old, and then I had an 89-year-old recently. So.
Now, what's your favorite age group to work with? Do you like working with the kids, or?
I like the teenage kids because they're kind of in this awkward phase where they want to get their hair looking a little bit cooler, but they're not really sure what they do. And a lot of these young boys want the hair like right down in their face. So trying to clean them up a bit and get them into the world of like taking care and grooming yourself. I like that a lot. Little kids are fun. They have a lot of funny stories, but I've really learned the art of chasing their head because they just want to move a lot.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
That must be kind of a challenge, I can assume.
Yeah, just today I had this guy, did you play Pokemon? And I'm like, yeah, you got to keep your head straight.
Do you have some fun stories of little people that you might be willing to share? Because I can only imagine that some of them are pretty good.
I had this kid just a couple of weeks ago, and he just kept asking me if he could have my money. And I was just like, no. And then his dad paid me, and he gets right up next to me, and I have my change in my hand, and I'm trying to give his dad the change, and he's just, can I have that? Can I have that $20? Can I have that $20? I'm like, no. And then he's, can I have that candy? Can I have that candy? And I'm like, no, what is this? He's hitting me up for money. It's just, the littlest kids just say the craziest things. They're hilarious.
That's awesome. How about stories of some of your, more established patrons? Do you have any good ones of those?
Ones that aren't appropriate for this channel.
Well, I kind of had to ask.
Yeah.
So tell us a little more about yourself. Do you have, you don't live in the area?
No,
I
live in Beaver Creek.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any little people of your own at home?
My girlfriend has an 8-year-old son, and he's great. Hopefully I'll get to have one of my own someday, but for now it's just us three, and it's a lot of fun. I don't have a whole lot of experience with kids. I come from a really small family. It's just basically my brother and I, and it's been an adventure being a part of her family. She's one of 4, and then they all have. I remember the first time she took me to meet her family, I didn't know I was going to meet them, and it was a pool party, and I'm suddenly in a pool with like 8 kids trying to drown me, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Okay, I've been in those shoes. I have the same thing. It's just me and my brother, and then my husband has a much bigger family, and it was overwhelming.
It is. It's like fun, but it's also like, I don't know how to act.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been fun, and he's, like I said, he's 8, and now we're dealing with him going back to school or not going back to school, or trying to explain to him COVID and what that means, and there's definitely some challenges to it.
Yeah, it's definitely complicated. And I'm sure COVID's complicated the barbershop too, the rules and regulations.
I can't spit shine my tools anymore. That sucks.
You did a lot of that before?
No, it's at first I remember I was at work, and this was back in March, and we were talking about, I worked in Centerville at the time because I made the decision to come to Bellbrook, and then we got shut down the very next day. So at the time I was working in Centerville, and we just kept hearing about, schools are going to get shut down, and we were like, we'll never get shut down. And then boom, we got shut down. But it was getting scarier and scarier because this thing was coming out, nobody knew what it was, and we have to, we're right on top of our clients, so we're just like, it was just getting a little nerve-wracking. And then but now being back in it, the more you're in it and the more you're with people, it kind of goes to the back of your head. It's always kind of there, but you see people, they don't seem sick or whatever, so it's a little bit less nerve-wracking than it was in the beginning. But everything from finding our disinfectant that we need, and production so low because of COVID, that's been terribly challenging to find everything that we need. Or you got the people that want to wear a mask, the people that don't want to wear a mask, and you just kind of want to stay neutral because you're running a business. You don't want to tell anybody kind of keep your opinions out of it when you're working, but it is challenging, not knowing if you're going to bring home something to your family, or if you're going to be okay. So we're just taking it day by day and hopefully stay well. That's all we can do.
Now, I brought Lucas in this weekend. Thank you again, by the way. His hair looks great. Not in his face either, which is always a blessing because he gets so shaggy sometimes. But and I know masks are required in the lobby, but you didn't have him necessarily wearing it while he was in the chair.
Right.
And we've been discussing, because Josh likes his facial hair done. And so what are the protocols that you guys were sort of developing for facial hair? Because I know it's very different when you're working with the face rather than like up at the top of the head.
So at this point, there is the mask mandate via Governor DeWine. So we are trying to adhere to that. But we do have different, like you said, we do face shaves and beard trims and things alike. So we're trying to navigate what is the best for us to not have to cut out half of our services, but still be safe. So if you're in our lobby, you must be wearing a mask. If there's more than, I'd say, 3 people in our waiting room, then we'll ask you to stay outside and wait until it's your turn, just so we don't have too many bodies in the barbershop. But if you're in the chair getting services done, we don't require you to wear it. You can absolutely keep it on if it makes you feel more comfortable. but you don't have to. That way we can get around the first day I came back to work, I just cut a mask string right off. So it's been a little challenging learning how to get around those. But as far as beard trims and face shaves, we're still going to offer those. We just ask that you don't sneeze in our face.
I would hope that that's probably a preference even before COVID.
And obviously, if you feel sick or if you know anybody that's been sick, don't come in. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It sounds like it's always an adventure, depending. Always. Every day brings a new challenge.
I've met a lot of people that I didn't know we had so many scientists in our area this time of year or during the COVID season. But no, we meet a lot of people that have a lot of different opinions, and it's fun because you meet one that thinks one way and then he gets up and leaves, and you got another one that has the complete different view. So you just get a whole array of the community.
And it sounds like it. I know I tend to chat when somebody's doing my hair if for no other reason than I'm really bad at being quiet.
Yeah.
So I suspect you probably get a lot of that too. So.
Absolutely. But the one thing that we've noticed, no matter what end of the spectrum you fall on during these like unprecedented times, is that nobody knows what to do. We're just kind of living day by day and trying to make the best decision for us and our families and our kids and school and everything. So we just have to band together no matter what our views are.
Yeah, that's what we hoped. Hopefully that's why we're doing this.
Absolutely.
You're here going, hey, come check us out.
Right. It's like, come to our business, but stay safe.
Yes, please. I'd like to continue paying my bills.
Exactly.
But I definitely don't want anybody getting sick.
Exactly. We definitely don't want to see another shutdown, that's for sure.
Absolutely. No. Now, going back to maybe the best parts of being a barber, what would you say your favorite thing to do is in terms of, do you like doing beards? Do you like doing hair? Is there a style that you use is your favorite personally?
My favorite is cutting the hair with the beards. You can shave a man's head and completely butcher it and he'll be fine. If you mess up his beard though, it's a whole different ball game. And obviously my beard isn't very luscious, so they're like, what do I use for and I'm like, I don't know, I don't even have one. But no, cutting hair is definitely my favorite. And I just like taking someone who has no idea what to do with it or doesn't have any sort of style that they fall towards and making them look good. When you turn them around and they're looking at themselves in the mirror and they're like, oh wow, I love that. That to me is fulfilling.
Oh, cool. Do you do any of the fun designs and shapes?
I did more of that in school, but I haven't had anybody here in Bellbrook asking for it yet. The mullet's coming back though.
Ooh.
I saw one of those today. The mullet
Not
is
sure
coming
how
back.
I feel about that.
It's crazy. It's hitting the high school kids. They're all wanting mullets, and one actually came to get his cut off, but they're coming back.
Goodness, does that mean we've got big curls and like wavy bangs coming too?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, that's mildly terrifying, actually. Next thing you know, we're all running around in MC Hammer pants.
Exactly, no kidding, right?
And,
Another thing I love to do though is also just the shaving itself. I think that sets us apart from a salon or even like Great Clips or anything, the chain hair salons, because they're not allowed to use straight razors and we are. And whenever I have a guy in my chair, whether I'm doing a face shave or just lining up the back of his neck, because with every haircut we end it with a neck shave, they're just like, whoa, I don't get this. And you can tell that just feels like a little spa day to them. It's like they're treating themselves. So it's fun.
I do know that Josh has been looking for a place. He'd go to New York on a business trip and he'd come home all freshly shaven. It's like, I found this little hole in the wall that did it, because it does seem to be very hard to find places.
And even some barbers now, they don't even want to offer it. I'm not sure why, but I love it. It's like that old school barber feel that you don't see anymore.
Yep, the kind of a blast from the past where men were a little more dapper.
Yeah, we got to clean them up in 2020.
Yeah, well, again, 1920, 2020, we'll go
exactly.
back. Some things are worth bringing back.
Exactly.
Maybe not the mullet.
Yeah.
The straight razor shave sounds like a good one to
100%.
keep around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds like just a dream to be finally doing what makes you happiest.
It's great, and especially when the older patrons come in who they grew up in barbershops, and then barbershops kind of went by the wayside for many years, and now they're coming back and they love it. They love seeing an old barber in town.
Well, it's super neat. We're grateful. Like I said, we've definitely going to keep coming back, and I know several people that enjoy having you in town too. So
we love the locals. We're doing really well. It's getting busier and busier every week, and we love it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in and
Thanks
telling
for
us
having
a
me.
little bit about what you do and how you
Absolutely.
got into it. And definitely check out Dapper Zine downtown at the Bellbrook Barber Company. We, absolutely think he does some great work, and we will hopefully talk to you guys next time.
Thank you.